Chapter 12. Gwen. 6 years later. I stare at the ring on my finger, wondering how life has changed so fast. It feels like just yesterday that I snuck out of that room and packed the last of my clothes and moved away to New York, the city where no one gives a damn about your problems, or about you for that matter. At first, I liked it, but after a year of working at the top law firm in New York, I realized that I was starting to feel more alone than I have ever felt in my life. After saving up enough money, I decided to backpack through Europe for a year. I mean, what better way to find yourself than to get lost in an unfamiliar, but still absolutely beautiful continent? That decision was probably the best decision, aside from my studies in London, that I had ever made. For a year, I was free to meet new people and see so many different places. It was also in that year that I met my fiancé, Gabriel Beaufoy. We met at a bar in Paris one night, 6 months into my year of backpacking, where I had one too many to drink, and some guy tried taking advantage of me. Gabriel came swooping in, looking like a knight in shining armor, with his blonde hair and blue eyes. When I saw him, I couldn't help but think that he is the complete opposite of Gareth, the light against the dark, and I hated myself for even thinking about Gareth. But I couldn't really blame myself. Every guy that I had been with after Gareth was nothing but a disappointment, proving to me that he did really ruin me for all men. I vowed that night I would stop comparing every man to Gareth, stop holding men up to that high standard when it came to sex, and rather focus on who they are as a person, because at the end of the day, sex won't make me feel loved, and that is what I wanted. After Gabriel saved me from the asshole that couldn't take no for an answer, he offered to get me a glass of water to help me sober up. I accepted, even though I could have gotten one myself, because I wanted to see where the night would lead. We ended up dancing the entire night away, laughing at people falling all over their feet, and talking about our dreams and goals in life. I found out that Gabriel had his own media company, and, as it turns out, he needed a lawyer to handle any lawsuits thrown at the company, as media is a tricky business to be in. The next day, I went for the interview at his company, and the very next day, I had a job. Gabriel wasn't joking when he said that he needed a lawyer, and that working in the media business was tricky. Turns out you step on a lot of toes when you try to bring the truth to light. The first 2 years, Gabriel and I were just friends, but we both knew the other one wanted more, but neither of us were willing to damage our friendship or our working relationship. That all changed when we were both working late one night after hours of working through countless cases and articles. We ended up having a drink, and one drink turned into 2, and after the 4th one, there was just no denying that sexual tension. I have no idea who made the first move, only that our lips ended up slammed together while our hands were pulling at each other's clothes. The first time was messy and hurried, but I felt content afterwards. For the first time, I didn't compare my sexual partner to Gareth, and I felt like I was finally moving forward. I still thought about Gareth a lot, more often in the past week than I have in the past 5 years. A week ago, my past was simply that, my past. But then Gabriel came home 7 days ago, a big groovy smile on his face, and told me that the company that he has been trying to collaborate with in America for the past 3 years has finally agreed to meeting up with him. Turns out, that company is owned by Gareth Martin, CEO of Martin's Media. Who would have thought that the man I have been trying to forget for the past 6 years turned out to become that CEO of the best media company in California? I, for one, didn't. Gabriel has no idea who Gareth is to me. No idea that he is the man that took my virginity and has been the man I have been fantasizing about every time I had to get myself off when he was too exhausted after a long day at work. He has no idea that Gareth is the man that woke up that sex-craved monster in me that he gets to enjoy. If he did, he would probably back out of the meeting and never think about Martin's Media ever again. But I can't tell him. Not when I know he has been waiting for this for years. What bothers me is why, after refusing to even meet with Gabriel for 3 years, did Gareth finally deem Gabriel worthy of an hour of his time? Is it possible that he knows that I will have to come with? Not that it makes much sense, because I have been working with Gabriel for 4 years now. If it was me he wanted to see, then he would have agreed to see us when Gabriel questioned the meeting the first time. I twist the engagement ring around my finger, watching the overly large diamond disappear and then reappear. I will have to go into that meeting and face my past, face the man that has been plaguing my mind. I will have to pretend like it is the first time we have met. I will have to pretend like I don't remember how his hands feel on my skin, how his mouth feels between my legs, how his fingers feel as they thrust into me. I will pretend like I don't know how it feels to be fucked by Gareth Martins. Fuck, I am so screwed.
Êtes-vous prête à partir, bébé? Are you ready to go, baby?
Gabriel says, popping his head into my office. I look down at my watch to see that it is just past 2, and our flight is leaving at 5. We need to go to the airport at least an hour before checking in if we want to get on that plane. Damn it, I really don't want to go. Donnez-moi juste une seconde. Just give me a second, I tell him as I grab my bag and double-check that I have our passport and plane tickets. Once I am sure that I have everything, I take a deep breath and then face Gabriel with a forced smile. Let's go, I tell him, taking his hand and following him out the door while praying that I don't fuck this up for him. Finissons un peu que je peux renouveler et pour ça. Let's get this over with so that I can come back and marry you. Gabriel says, and this time when I smile, the smile is real. I very much like the idea of that. Chapter 13. Glenn. I try my best not to rub my sweaty palms down my cream pencil skirt, worried that it might leave a stain and that Gareth might then know just how nervous I am about this meeting, about seeing him again. I couldn't sleep last night, tossing and turning for hours in bed while Gabriel was softly snoring next to me. I wanted to kick him out of bed and ask him how the hell he can sleep the night before walking into the meeting of his dreams, but I know that would have just freaked him out as well, and then we both would be tired today, struggling to focus on this meeting. I check my reflection of the large glass building with Martin's Media written in big, bold red letters at the top. Typical that he would want to make it impossible to miss his name plastered on a building. My hair is done up on a high ponytail, my green eyes highlighted with a smoky eye, and my lips painted blood red. My white button-down shirt is long-sleeved, and I wish I had gone with something a bit cooler in this heat, instead of trying to look as professional as possible. But there is no backing out now. My cream-colored pencil skirt is high-waisted and sits like a second skin, ending just underneath my knees. My heels are nude and 6 inches, adding enough to my height that I am only a head shorter than Gabriel. Gabriel takes my hand in his, squeezing it for comfort. His smile is bright, and his eyes have this sparkle, making it hard not to smile back, even when I feel like I'm about to throw up.
You look absolutely beautiful, my rose,
he says in his broken English, and I wish I could feel the butterflies I normally feel when he says something sweet to me. But all I feel now is the zoo inside my stomach, trampling all over my nerves.
Have you decided on the dress you are going to wear on our big day?
He is trying to distract me, and I really do appreciate his effort, but his question doesn't calm me down. It does the complete opposite. I have not. I have been busy the past week trying to make sure that we have everything covered for this trip, I tell him, when in all honesty, I just haven't been able to get into the wedding spirit. I haven't chosen a venue yet, haven't decided on my bridesmaids or what they will wear. I haven't really thought about what I want for my big day and have considered numerous times just getting married in court. It isn't like I will have any friends or family of my own at our wedding, my parents both being the only child, and my grandparents passed away before I was even born. I have no close family, and I lost my best friend the day I realized that I was nothing but comfort for him. I met a lot of people in the past 6 years, but I didn't make any lifelong friends. I dread the idea of planning this wedding, because it just reminds me that I really don't have anyone but Gabriel on my side, and I'm not sure what to do with that. For the past 4 years, I have been content with having him, but now that I have to plan on who will be standing next to me as I walk down the aisle alone, I'm not so sure if I truly am content or just settling. Don't get me wrong, I love Gabriel, and I would be happy to spend the rest of my life with him. But is that really what I want? To be the content wife with the 2 perfect children and the perfect house? I know that would excite most women, but for me it just sounds, well, for lack of a better word, boring.
As soon as we get home, you can ask Harriet to take over the day-to-day business and then focus on your dress and planning the wedding. I'm sure Amy and Cindy would love to do the whole girl time thing with you, Gabriel says, pulling me from my depressing thoughts as we make our way to the receptionist. Harriet is the other lawyer working with me, and we have become somewhat comfortable over the last year. She is too afraid to build an actual relationship with me because I am dating and now engaged to her boss, but she hasn't given me any shit about it.
so I haven't pushed for more than comfortable colleagues with her. Amy and Cindy are friends that Gabriel and I made one night while we went out for drinks. Gabriel had hit it off with their husbands, Hugo and Merlin, and I got comfortable with the girls. They have been nice to me and have invited me out with them on numerous occasions, but I haven't really felt like I fit in with their crowd. They are rich and hang around people that are constantly sucking up to them to try and get in with their husbands, and where I am appealed by it, they seem to thrive on the ability to decide who makes it and who doesn't. I will make sure to get the ball rolling as soon as we get back home, I assured him, with another forced smile. Luckily, the reception interrupts us before he can ask anything else regarding the wedding.
Mr. Beaufoy, Miss King, I am Haley. You can follow me to the conference room. I will inform Mr. Martins that you have arrived.
The woman is beautiful with her black hair that reaches her waist and her dark brown eyes. She is taller than me by at least 3 inches, even with my heels on, and I can't help but straighten up to make myself a bit taller. She looks friendly, but I know it is part of her job to be friendly to guests she receives. She is dressed in a red shirt with a black pencil skirt, and as I look around, I see that everyone is dressed similarly. Seems like Gareth has a dress code around here. Haley leads us to the elevator and then presses the button for the 15th floor. My stomach sinks as we start making our way up, my thoughts running wild as I imagine what Gareth looks like now, if he has really changed all that much. I wonder if he will even remember me, or if I am just another girl he fucked and forgot. You always take the underwear of the women you fuck?
Only the ones I want to remember.
Did he keep my underwear? Should I really be thinking about that shit right now?
Mr. Martins should be here in the next 5 minutes. Please make yourselves comfortable,
Haley says, pulling me from my past and reminding me that I am here with my fiancé. I didn't even realize that we made it out of the elevator and down the hall, and I blinked a few times to try and clear my head and focus on the task at hand. I am here to do a job. I need to make sure that we don't walk into a deal that will end up costing us. I need to make sure that whatever deal Gareth throws on the table will be beneficial for both companies. I am not here to wonder about a pair of panties that I left behind. We each take a seat at the large table in the center of the room, facing the windows that look over the city below. If I close my eyes for a moment, I can imagine that I am back in New York, where the city is alive with traffic and people trying to get from one place to another. I can imagine the busy office and phones ringing. This is nothing like New York. The building is too quiet to do anything like that. But I know somewhere in this building there are people running about, trying to get their work done while dying for their morning coffee. The door to the conference room opens, and we all stand up to greet the man we have been waiting for. The second our eyes connect, it is like my entire world comes to a stop. And I know I am so unbelievably screwed. Chapter 14. Gwen. Pull it together, straighten up, and close your damn mouth, and pretend like this is just another meeting. Pretend that you aren't looking at the most beautiful man you've ever seen. And pretend like this same man isn't the best fucking sex of your life. Just fucking pretend. Put that game face on and get this over with. I try to give myself a pep talk as I take Gareth in. He has just gotten sexier with time, and my body, the traitor that she is begging for a touch. A reminder of that night. Get your fucking hormones under control, woman.
Good day, Mr. Martins. I would like to introduce my lawyer and my fiancée, Gwyneth. She will be handling any contracts from my side,
Gabriel says, a smile stretched over his face. He holds out his hand for Gareth to shake, but Gareth isn't even looking at him. His blue eyes glued to the ring on my finger. My hand suddenly feels heavy with his stare, and I have to fight the urge to put my hand behind my back, or just take the damn thing off. But I refuse to give Gareth that pleasure, or to insult Gabriel like that. I have to remind myself that Gareth was nothing but an asshole to me for years, and that doesn't take away from the few times that he was actually a decent human being. Looking at the halter burning in his eyes as he lifts them to look at the hand that Gabriel is holding for him to shake, I am reminded of that. Instead of saying anything, Martins simply nods and takes a seat at the head of the table. Gabriel looks taken aback, and I wish I could tell him not to be bothered by Gareth, or intimidated, that Gareth is nothing but a bully, and isn't worth his confusion or respect for that matter. But doing so would lead to questions, and I am not ready to answer any of them. I glare at Gareth instead and take my seat, watching as a smirk pulls at his lips. Oh, he remembers me, and he is doing this on purpose to make me uncomfortable. Well, two can play this game. I know that the best thing to do now is pretend that he doesn't matter to me.
Thank you for getting back to me on my suggestion to collaborate. I know we will make a great team, and this will help both our companies to reach further than our own countries and reach a wider audience.
Gabriel begins, and I want to drop to the floor. He's making this far too easy for Gareth to use him. I want to know why you took so long to get back to us. You have had 3 years to get in contact with us, so why now? I ask him, putting up my business face and getting into it.
What my beautiful fiancé means is that we would just like to know what changed your mind in agreeing to see us,
Gareth says, putting a hand on my leg as if he is trying to calm me down. I can feel him looking at me as if he is trying to ask me if I am all right, but I'm not going to back off or make him look weak in front of some arrogant asshole that hasn't bothered to say a word yet. No, I am asking if your company is failing and if you agreed to see us now because you plan on using us to help pull yourself out of a shit show. Or if there is another reason why it took you 3 years to even so much as reply to our suggestion, I ask, getting more and more pissed off the longer he just stares at me. Gareth watches me for another second and then sits back, taking a deep breath.
My company is not failing, nor does it need assistance from yours. I am just not desperate to collaborate with a small media business that, quite frankly, would have been more a pain in my ass than anything else 3 years ago. The reason I have waited this long is because I wanted to see if your company would survive and grow, or if it would fail, just like most media companies do these days. I wanted to make sure that your goals and morals were aligned before I ever consider working together, he says, and I swear if steam could blow out of my ears, it would. I open my mouth to say something else, but Gabriel interrupts me. I appreciate that you found my company worthy of this meeting, then. I do believe that our goals and morals, as you say, are aligned if that means that we both seek to bring the truth to the world, no matter how harsh it might be,
he says, and I want to kick him. Gabriel had worked his ass off to pick his company off the ground, where his father had left it, and to make it into something worthy of a legacy. I will not allow Gareth or anyone to make him feel small because he deserves so much more than that. What are your morals, Gareth? Our goals might be aligned, but I can't say that our morals are the same, I tell him, and this time Gabriel squeezes my leg hard underneath the table.
I am sorry, my fiancé didn't get that much sleep last night. I think she's just a bit tired and therefore triggered easily, he says, and this time my glare is directed at him. His eyes are pleading with me to calm down and to not ruin this before it even started, and I take a deep breath, trying to calm myself. This is his dream, and I'm supposed to be here to support him. Instead, I keep throwing in reasons for Gareth to pull out and walk away. He's right, I haven't slept much, and with the jet lag, I'm exhausted, I say, but I do not apologize, and I never will. Couldn't sleep, Red?
The fucking nerve of this man. My body heats up with the nickname that I haven't heard in years, and only he called me, and I wish I could say my body was heating up with anger, but I can't lie to myself. My pussy clenches, and I pray that I don't stand up with a wet spot on my skirt. I can feel the question in Gabriel's eyes as he looks between the two of us, wondering if we know each other, and I want to nip that one in the bud. My name is Gwen. It would be in your best interest to stick to my name, or better yet, you can call me Miss Kane. If neither of those suits you, then I suppose I can start getting used to Mrs. Buffoy, as that is what you will be calling me in 3 months from now, if you do actually plan on collaborating with my fiancé. I smiled at the flash of pure rage in Gareth's eyes and straightened my back. Your turn. I tell him with my eyes, and Gareth lifts his chin, accepting the challenge.
Tell me, Gabriel, why did you decide that you wanted to collaborate with me? I know there are media companies that have a much further reach than I do. So why choose me? Gareth asks, and I wonder what his angle is. My beloved is from here. This is where she grew up, and I wanted to give her a part of her home. The reason I chose you and not your competitor, Mr. Anderson, is because I pride myself on the truth, and Mr. Anderson prides himself on selling anything that will make him look good, Gabriel says, and I want to sink back into my chair. He really does pride himself on the truth, and here I am trying to lead him away from it. I have told Gabriel where I came from, and I have told him in short about why I left, but I never gave him the names of the people I left behind, and I sure as hell didn't mention Gareth, or the fact that I stripped for 4 months to get some extra cash. I was hoping those parts of my past would forever be buried, but
now I am not so sure. I hate the fact that I'm hoping Gareth will walk away and say that he wants no part in this and wants nothing to do with Gabriel, because that means I am all right with Gabriel walking away from his dreams just so that I can keep my past a secret.
Well then, Mr. Beaufoy.
Gareth says his surname like it is a joke, and I press my nails into my palms to keep myself from jumping over this table and clawing his fucking eyes out.
I suggest you get Gwen to bed. I will send my driver to pick you up tomorrow night, and I will take you out to dinner to discuss our hopes for this arrangement,
Gareth says, standing up and then walking out the door, once again not bothered to shake Gabriel's hand. Chapter 15. Gwen.
I am not sure that I like him,
Gabriel says, as soon as we make it into our hotel room, and hope blooms in my chest. Maybe he will be the one to walk away and I will never have to come back here.
I have to ask, do you know him?
He asks, and I suck in a breath, wondering how I should answer this. Gabriel prides himself on always being honest, and he expects the people around him to be honest as well, especially his soon-to-be wife and the woman he is planning on spending the rest of his life with. I know I should probably just tell him the truth, but I can't help but wonder what complications that would cause. Gabriel had been hoping for this for years, and if my secrets are going to cost him his dreams, then it is better to not say them, right? No, it is best I stay away from the whole truth, but I can at least give him some parts of the truth. Remember I told you about the guy I grew up with that was my best friend? I ask him, and he nods. Well, Gareth was his best friend, or at least I think it is past tense, as they are now rivals, I continue.
Wait, so Mr. Anderson was your best friend?
Gabriel asks, and I nod. I promise. I didn't know either of them was in the media business, and I haven't had contact with either of them since the day I walked out of this place. I honestly didn't think I would ever come back here. My heart is beating as I see the hurt flash in Gabriel's eyes.
Why did you not tell me this when you knew I had been trying to get in contact with Gareth for so long? I could have tried to find a different company to go into business with,
he says as he starts to pace. I know you have been trying to get in contact with them, but I didn't know that you chose them because you wanted me to have a part of my past. If I knew that was why you were trying to get Gareth to correlate with you, then I would have told you not to waste your time. But you were so excited about the idea of going into business with him, and I didn't want to get in the way of your dreams, I tell him, hoping he will understand.
Did anything happen between you and Gareth that I should know about now?
He asks me, and I swear I want to tell him the truth. But I just can't. Nothing that will conflict with any future business you have with him. He was only the moody asshole that was friends with the same person I was friends with. That's all. I hate that I can't tell him the full truth, but I can't get myself to tell him what really happened between me and Gareth. Not that it would explain Gareth's hostility. I mean, we had one night together and that was it. I didn't have feelings for him, and he certainly didn't have any feelings for me. So why is he acting like this? Or maybe the last memories I have of him is fucking with the rest of the memories I have of him.
Let's hear what he has to say tomorrow, and we can decide from there if we are going ahead with this, or if we should go home,
Gabriel says, wrapping his arms around me to let me know that we are okay. I feel like shit for not telling him the truth, and I honestly hope that he never finds out what Gareth really means to me. But the truth always has a way of coming out, and I fear that it might just end up ruining me. I am sorry I didn't tell you about my connection to him, I say as I hold on to him, finding comfort in his embrace.
I am going to be very honest and tell you that I am not happy that you didn't tell me. I understand why you didn't think I would need to know, and I really wish you would have told me. But I am not going to hold it against you, he says, and I sigh in relief.
Gabriel is a far better person than I will ever be. I really don't deserve him. But I am not going to walk away from him just because some man that will never be able to love me, and I doubt I will ever be able to love him, just walked back into my life. I am not going to throw everything I had built with Gabriel down the drain for the hopes of a quick fuck with Gareth, because that is all it will ever be. I walk into the living room in a green dress that I bought at a thrift store at next to nothing, but it makes me feel like $1 million. The dress only comes to mid-thigh, the back completely open, and the front dipping low. It covers everything that needed to be covered, but shows enough to have the men begging for more. I fell in love with this dress the moment I saw it, but I haven't found the right time to wear it yet. Tonight is the perfect opportunity to wear it with my black heels that have thin straps that tie around my ankles. My hair is hanging over one shoulder in soft curls, and my lips are once again painted a bright red. My eyes only highlighted with mascara and eyeliner and a light shadow.
Tu es absolument magnifique.
You look absolutely beautiful, Gabriel says, and I smile at him with pride. He doesn't look too bad himself, dressed in his black three-piece suit, with his light blue dress shirt that reminds me of the night I met him. His hair is styled to look like he ran his fingers through them after a rough session in bed, and I wish for a moment that we didn't have to go out, and that I could drag him right back to bed where it is safe. Gabriel smirks like he knows exactly what I am thinking about. Maybe we can say right here, forget about Gareth and his deals and just get right back to bed. We can practice for our wedding night, I tell him as I reach up to fix his tie. Gabriel groans but shakes his head.
No, I want to get this over with so I can take you home and finally make you my wife, he says, grabbing me around the waist and pulling me against him. I can feel his hard-on pressing into me, and I press harder against it. I can make it so good, I tell him, dreading the idea of walking out the door and facing Gareth, not because I hate him, but because I am afraid that I might end up thinking about that night, and I don't want to feel any more guilty about not telling Gabriel the entire story. I already do. I know you can, my rose, but I really do want to find out what Gareth has to offer and see where we will go from here, he says, taking a step back.
Fine. We'll just have to push through and hope that nothing goes wrong in the next few hours. At 7, we made our way down to the lobby to find a man waiting for us. He introduced himself as Archer and told us he would be our driver. Once we stepped outside, a limo was waiting for us, and I nearly rolled my eyes all the way to the back of my head. Of course, he would try to throw his money around. Inside the limo was a bottle of expensive champagne and 2 glasses, and I didn't wait before filling the glasses and handing one to Gabriel. To us, I tell him, and he clicks his glass against mine before taking a sip. I down the glass and pour another, and Gabriel throws his head back and laughs. Tu es mignon quand tu es stressé, mon amour. You are cute when you are stressed, my love. Cute is the last thing I want to be, but it is better than ugly. We make small talk all the way to some fancy Italian restaurant, and, once again, I have to try not to blind myself. I hold onto my clutch and slowly step out of the limo, trying not to break my heels with my shaky legs. The hostess shows us to a private section on the 2nd floor of the restaurant, and we find Gareth there, standing with his back to us as he talks on the phone. He is dressed similarly to Gabriel, except he has on a blood-red shirt, and I wonder why he is so obsessed with the color. Red logo, red uniform, and now again with the red shirt. We take a seat at the only table in the room, and the waiter offers us some red wine, which I gladly accept. A few minutes later, Gareth ends his call and makes his way to the table.
Sorry for keeping you waiting. It was an urgent business call that I couldn't ignore,
he says, and then holds out his hand for Gabriel. Gabriel looks at his hand, and I hope that he ignores it. But he gets up from his chair and shakes Gareth's hand with a tight grip. Gareth turns to me, and I lift my chin, refusing to get up and greet him.
I hope you got some rest and will be in a more talkative mood this evening.
This slimy bastard. He smirks at me, and I have the overwhelming urge to wipe that smirk right off his face. Oh, I found more entertaining ways to get rid of the nerves and tension. Gabriel knows just how to loosen me up, I say, as I rub Gabriel's leg suggestively, and I swear I hear Gareth growl next to us. But I simply smile as if I didn't hear a thing. I feel so much better now, I tell him, as if I appreciate his concern. Gabriel smiles proudly at me, and I am glad that he isn't upset with me for throwing our relationship at Gareth. If anything, he looks like he is enjoying this.
Well then, seeing as that is settled, let's get to work,
Gareth says, and jumps into conversation with Gabriel. I take that as a win for me and smile throughout the next 2 hours as I sip my wine and eat the little snacks that are placed on the table.
I need to head to the loo if you don't mind,
Gabriel says, and my body tenses. I don't want him to leave me alone with Gareth, and I also consider excusing myself, but then Gareth would know he has an effect on me, and he will find some way to hold it against me. So I smile and watch as Gabriel makes his way to the 1st floor to find the bathroom.
Leave him.
I turn to look at Gareth. I am sorry? What did you just say? There's no way I heard him correctly.
You heard me. Leave him.
What the actual fuck? Jeanre sits back in his chair, looking comfortable as he sips his scotch. You have some fucking nerve. Who the hell do you think you are? I ask him, pissed, and for some unknown reason, turned on by his alpha male show. Jeanre leans forward, placing his elbows on the table as he looks at me.
I am the man that knows you, and knows what you want and need, and I am the man that is going to give it to you. You had 6 years to get your shit together. I was patient, but you have run out of time. Leave him,
he says again, and I can feel my face turn red, and anger, even as my body tries to fight against it, begging for him to come closer, to take what he wants and give me another taste of what I had all those years ago. Luckily, my pride is stronger than my libido, and my anger wins out. Chapter 16.
Gareth. 6 years. That is how long I have given her, and I am done waiting. I have stood back and kept an eye on her from a distance, and not once did I come in her way or try to show her up in her life. But I haven't forgotten her, haven't stopped thinking about her for that matter, and then she went and fucking got engaged. That was never supposed to happen. But if life had taught me anything, it was that life doesn't always go your way. Life doesn't care about your hopes or dreams, and if you want to make your dreams a reality, it is all up to you to do so. Gwen's mouth opens and then closes, and I can't help but smirk at her. Oh, she will leave him because she knows just as well as I do that there might have been other people these past few years that came and went, but we are the endgame, not some sweet and soft French snub. That is never going to happen.
You can't be serious,
Gwen finally says. I don't make jokes, I tell her, readjusting my legs to fit more comfortably under the table. The one thing I fucking hate about being so damn tall is that I struggle to sit at tables comfortably without bumping my knees into the table or kicking someone by accident. Getting a car where my legs don't get crammed in is also one really painful struggle.
Gabriel and I are getting married. I love him, and I am not leaving him for my past bully or for mindless sex. I have been with him for nearly 3 years and have known him longer than that, and he is the perfect man for me,
Gwen says, sitting back in her chair and folding her arms over her chest, pushing her breasts out. Fuck, she is truly the most beautiful woman I have ever seen. We both know that he is not the man for you. Why are you stringing him along? I ask. Tired of this game. I was hoping this would be easy, but I guess she had gotten more stubborn the last few years.
What part of I love Gabriel do you not understand? I am not leaving him to please your self-centered ass. Fuck, Gareth. You can't even promise me a future or love, for that matter.
Gwen looks like she is ready to blow an artery, her face getting red with anger. Tell me, Red. I lean forward, placing my lips to her ear, and I smirk to myself when I see the goosebumps spread over her flesh. If I were to touch you right now, would you be wet for me? Can he do that? Get you turned on with just a few words? Does he get your blood pumping by simply being close to you? When you are alone at night, and you start running your fingers down your body between your legs, who do you think of when you close your eyes and play with that little bundle of nerves? Is it his name that you scream, or is it mine? I ask her, and then pull away, wanting to see her face when she lies to me.
I haven't thought about you since I walked out of here,
she says, but she can't look me in the eyes. Lie. I smile as I watch Gabriel climb the stairs, returning far too soon for my liking. Gwen turns her head to look at her fiancé and forces a smile over her lips. I run my eyes over the asshole that is trying to lay claim to my woman. He is attractive, I will give him that, but he would fit much better with those women that enjoy going to country clubs and black tie events, not Gwen, who enjoys dancing in front of a room full of men because it makes her feel powerful. I can guarantee that when he fucks her, he is being all soft and sweet and can probably only get her off once before he finishes, and he only ensures to get her off at least once so that he doesn't come off as a selfish asshole. He doesn't even look like the kind of man that swears. What the hell is she doing with him? Tu vas bien, baby? You alright, baby? He is talking French on purpose, trying to exclude me from the conversation. I pretend to look confused of what he is saying, lifting my eyebrow and tilting my head, and Gwen sees the confused look, exactly like I had hoped she would.
Il s'était juste de m'énerver, toujours. Limité doigt que je ne crois mais il non est con effet sur moi. Rien que
He is just trying to get me worked up. Still the bully I knew, but he doesn't have any effect on me. Nothing to worry about, Gwen says, keeping a smile on her face. Gabriel leans down and gives her a kiss on the head, glaring at me with a warning in his eyes. Oh, Gwen doesn't realize what a big mistake she made now, but she is going to figure out very soon. I haven't said anything outright that would prove that we know each other, but she just made it clear that she has told him about me. Or, at least in some lengths, and clearly told him about the time that I was being an ass to her. Typical of her to tell him only how shit I was to her, and not how I was the person that was there for her when she needed someone the most. Well then, it seems like I will have an up-to-the-asshole game. Tell me, Gabriel, has Gwen danced for you yet? Gwen spits her wine out that she just took from her glass and snaps her head in my direction. No, not for me, but we have danced together, and she is one hell of a dancer, Gabriel says, unaware of the fact that his soon-to-be wife is nearly having a panic attack. Gwen pleads with her eyes to not tell him anything else, and I guess Miss Goody Two-Shoes has secrets that she isn't willing to tell her soon-to-be husband. Definitely not how you should start a marriage. Oh, that she is, and so much more, I say, letting him know without outright saying that I know how she can dance, that I know how good she is when she is doing a private dance. I can see the realization on Gabriel's, and then he looks at Gwen, and I sit back and watch the show.
Chapter 17. Gwen. De quoi parle-t-il? What is he talking about? Fucking Gareth just couldn't help himself. The arrogant fucking bastard. I try to think of what to say, but I know everything I say will now sound bad. Fuck. How did it get to this? Why is Gareth like this? I swear if he ends up being the reason Gabriel leaves me, I will rip his fucking balls off. Il essaie juste de se mettre sur bébé. He is just trying to get under our skin, baby. Fuck, why can't I just tell him the truth? There is nothing to be ashamed of when it comes to my past. If anything, I should own up to it instead of hiding from it. He won't accept anything but pure and perfect, and you know it. That fucking voice in my head loves to drop her unwanted opinions. I don't really know if Gabriel would still love me if he knew about my past. I never spoke to him about it. I guess I just never thought I would have to.
Stop lying, Gwen. He should know what you like if he plans on pleasing you as his wife, and honestly, any man would be lucky to have you give him a private show. I would know, as I am sure that I am the only one that ever got one from you, but then again, for all I know, you could have given plenty to other men a private show after you left me alone in your fucking bed and disappeared on me.
Gareth is pissed now. I can feel the anger radiating from him, and I wouldn't have been pissed if it wasn't for the fact that I could hear how hurt he is by the fact that I left him. It just doesn't make sense. Gareth is the player, the sex god that can get any woman he wants. Why would he be hurt by the fact that I slipped out of his life? Was it because he was used to being the one leaving? Was his ego bruised? Well, he needs to get the fuck over it. Who the fuck holds a grudge for 6 years?
Can you shut the fuck up? This is between me and my fiancé,
Gabriel says, glaring at Gareth. Hope blooms in my chest as Gabriel glares at Gareth, and I pray that his anger is directed only at Gareth. But then his eyes turn to me, and it is filled with hurt, and I sink back in my chair. I would much rather he leveled that glare at me with those hurt eyes. Baby, please, just give me a chance to explain. I take a step closer to Gabriel, but he takes a step back, and my heart sinks further. He doesn't want anything to do with me anymore. Please, I promise I will tell you everything, but you need to know that this is my past, and I never thought I would have to relive it. I was embarrassed, and I try to make him understand, but Gareth interrupts.
You are embarrassed about me?
He asks, clearly offended. What? No, I'm not embarrassed about you. But that isn't what I'm talking about, and you know it. Just fuck off, please, and give me and my fiancé a chance to talk. You are the one that started this, and I just want to fix the fucking mess you made. I growl the last part at him.
Typical Gwen style, blaming everyone for the choices you made, Gareth says, standing up to tower over me.
I fucking hate that he can intimidate me with his length. I hate the way he feels like I am so insignificant against him. How do you stand up against someone that is basically twice your size? I look like a midget trying to fight with a giant. There is nothing intimidating about that. I try to straighten myself, but I know it is of no use. Even Gabriel tries to straighten up, and he isn't the one in the wrong here. I am not blaming you for the choice that I made. I am blaming you for using Gabriel as a reason to get me here. I am blaming you for trying to fuck with his head because of your bruised ego. It was one fucking time, Gareth. I am sure you have walked out on plenty of women, never to call them again. What, you couldn't handle a taste of your own medicine? I ask him, furious that he is making me look like the bad guy.
If you plan on still having a relationship, you should run after to a fiancé, Gwen.
That is, if he is still up for the task, Gareth says, with a smirk, and I turn to look beside me, not seeing Gabriel where he was just a few seconds ago. My heart beats hard and fast, fear and anxiety clawing at my chest. Fuck, Gabriel left and I can't even blame him. Why are you doing this? I love him, Gareth. Why can't you just let me be happy? Why do you have to come walking into my life after 6 years and ruin everything I have built? What is wrong with you, that you can't just let me be fucking happy? I ask him, and I hate that I can taste my tears as they stream down my face.
You will get over him, Gwen. I know you, because you were never meant to be his. At some point you will realize that, and you will be thanking me for saving you the trouble of having to file for a divorce and having kids grow up in separate homes. You might be pissed at me now, but you will forgive me at some point. I will be waiting for you, Gareth says, taking my face in his hands and then smashing his lips into mine. My knees go weak at that simple touch, and for a moment, I forget where we are and who he is, who I have become. For a moment, we are back in my old bedroom, his lips on mine, and nothing else matters. But the moment snaps when he pulls away, and it is like a bucket of ice-cold water is thrown on me. I didn't kiss him back. I didn't pull away. I didn't want to. I hate to admit it, but if he had kissed me for a second longer, I wouldn't have been able to move past my shock, and I would have kissed him back. I hate the fact that when his lips touched mine, it felt like coming home. I need to. Don't you dare fucking touch me ever again, I say through clenched teeth, hoping I don't sound as weak as I feel. Gareth holds his hands up in surrender. I promise I won't touch you again,
he says, and I hate the wave of disappointment that runs through me. I am engaged to a beautiful man with a heart of gold that would do anything to make sure I am smiling every day. Yet here I am, disappointed that Gareth agreed so quickly that he would never touch me again. What the fuck is wrong with me? Gareth walks to the steps, and I know I should get to Gabriel, but I can't get my legs to move.
Gwen,
Gareth calls me when he reaches the steps.
I promise not to touch you again. Not until you beg for me to do so. And believe me, you will be begging, because I won't accept any other reality,
Gareth says, and I suck in a breath, my body coming alive with his words. Fucking traitor. Think of Gabriel, of what this would do to him. Think of the man that just 2 seconds ago you had claimed to love. I give myself a small pep talk, trying to get my head and my heart on the same track. You are delusional, Gareth Martins. I will never beg you to touch me, not in this lifetime or the next. Go to hell, I tell him. And finally I get my feet to work as I walk to the stairs and then push him out of the way with my shoulder. I take 2 steps before I hear him say,
I am already in hell, baby.
What the fuck does he mean with that? I shake my head and try to clear it. It doesn't matter. I am done with him, and I need to get to Gabriel and see if I can save our relationship. Please, God, let him still be at the hotel. I pray as I get in a taxi. Chapter 18. Gwen. I stand in front of our hotel room, staring at the door and moping for courage to walk in there and tell Gabriel everything. Why I keep holding back, I have no idea. But I know that if I walk through this door, then there's no way I can keep any secrets. Well, at least not about my past and what happened between me and Gareth. I hate Gareth for forcing this, for not giving me the chance to do this out of my own free will. I take a breath and then lift my chin and open the door. I love Gabriel, and we have a far better past than what I have with Gareth, and I'm going to do what I can to save our relationship. At least if I give it everything, I have, and he still walks away, I know I have given it my all, and I can walk out with a clean conscience, and I won't wonder about what if. I step into our suite and find Gabriel pacing up and down in the kitchen. When I close the door, he turns and faces me. Je t'aime et ne vais pas sortir de votre porte. Mais si tu ne me dis pas tout maintenant, je le ferai détenir du rien passe. I love you, and I don't want to walk out this door, but if you don't tell me everything now, I will and I won't come back, Gabriel says, and guilt slams into me. I hate that I have hurt him, And I know for a fact that I don't want him walking out that door. Gabriel might not be a sex god, but he is sweet and understanding, and he gets me. He makes me feel cared for in a way I haven't felt since my father died. Not that I see him as a father, but he is so much like my father. And the theory is that women always falls in love with someone that is like her father. And if that is the case, then Gabriel is my other half. And now it sounds like I only love him because I have to. But that truly isn't the case. I love him because I know the person he is, and I like who I am with him. I know I screwed up big time by not telling you the full truth, but I'm going to be honest. I am embarrassed about my past, and I never thought I would have to tell a soul about it. When I left here, I never thought I would be coming back. Really hoped I would never set foot back in California. And you looked so excited about the idea of collaborating with Gareth, and I didn't want to come between you and your dreams, and I wanted to be able to support you. And I thought that if you knew the truth, you might never be able to look at me again. Never mind collaborating with the company you've been chasing for years, I tell him, walking towards the couch and nearly collapsing into it.
Mon amour, you know that I would never be able to hate you, but I am disappointed that you didn't tell me everything even after I asked you last night to tell me the full truth. I honestly don't know if I know you at this moment, he says, and he looks so damn sad, and I hate it. I have told you the story of how I met my best friend, right? I ask him, already knowing the answer, but I wanted him to confirm it for me. He nods his head, and I go on. I was in love with him for years, constantly fantasizing about how he would stop his playboy ways and finally realize that I have been right there, waiting for him to see me, and how he would realize that I am the one he wants to spend the rest of his life with. I was naive and delusional, because Luke only ever loved himself. He knew how to show affection and how to make you feel like you were the only person in the world for him. But the moment you stopped feeding his ego, he would break you down and walk out. I never saw the real him. Never thought that he was a bastard to all those women that he treated like shit after he was done with them. Instead, I saw myself as fucking lucky, because I am the one he never pushed away or treated badly. I didn't realize that it was because I was constantly feeding his ego, and that made me worth keeping in his life. I left to study in London, and then came back because I found out my mother had cancer. I thought we would finally be together when I came back, but he had found Abigail, and I had to watch the man I thought I was going to spend the rest of my life with, happy with someone else. Then there was Gareth, a friend he made at university, and they became best friends, and soon after business partners. Gareth was a pain in my ass back then, constantly teasing me or making me feel weak and vulnerable. I hated feeling like I was so damn insignificant, so I fought back, and we were constantly at each other's throats. But on Luke's wedding day, it all changed. I was walking out of the wedding, and more than ready to walk out, and he was there, stopping me and telling me to woman up. I tried. I went to the after party, and I asked Gareth to dance with me. When he touched me, it was like a switch went off, and was done being the sweet girl that did everything by the book. I flirted with him on the dance floor, and we ended up kissing right there in front of all the guests. Luke was furious, and Gareth, the coward that he is, blamed the kiss on alcohol. I was hurt, knowing that the first man I kissed only kissed me because he was fucking drunk, and then he went and told Luke that I had feelings for him, and I walked out. I was rebellious after that, and I wanted to feel wanted, so I joined a strip club. I look up from my hands that I didn't even realize I had been looking at, to look up at Gabriel. I expected him to be furious. What I didn't expect was for him to look at me with his mouth hanging open and then throw his head back, laughing. "What about all this is so funny?" I ask him, glad that the hurt is washed from his eyes, but not happy about the fact that he is laughing at me. "Oh, my darling, you never do anything halfway. When you started working for me, you had put every bit of yourself into it. And when we started to become more than friends and colleagues, you threw everything into that as well. I don't know why I am shocked by the fact that you decided to rebel against the good girl by completely doing the opposite of what any good girl would do," he says. And I guess in a way it is funny that I completely swapped around, but that isn't even the worst part, and I hope he will be okay with me by the end of my story. That isn't even the worst part, I tell him, and he takes a seat next to me on the couch. "Do tell then," he says, and I tell him the rest, hoping he will still be smiling by the end.
After 20 minutes of me giving him a rundown of everything until the day I met him, he sits back and seems lost in thought. Please, say something, I say after a few minutes of silence.
You love him?
He asks, and I am taken aback. What? No, I don't love him. Sure, for a moment I imagined what it would have been like to be loved by Gareth, but I never loved him. I had always seen him as the enemy, and I just never got the chance to truly see him as anything else before I left. I tell him honestly. I might have wished that Gareth would find me over the years before Gabriel, but those dreams became nothing but dust when he didn't come after me, and I figured that he just wasn't interested in finding me. I mean, I use the same credit cards, and it's not like I've changed my name. He had the money even back then. If he wanted to find me, he would have.
Then I don't see the problem. I'm here because I wanted to give you a part of your past back, and yes, because I do believe that it would benefit the company to collaborate with the Martins media, but I will not do it at the cost of your happiness, he says. And I love how he is willing to put his company after me, but I will not allow it. If you are sure that you are all right with my past, then I will be all right handling Gareth. The only thing he had to use was the fact that he knew about my past and you didn't. Now that you know everything, he won't be able to use it to come between us, and therefore he won't be able to screw with us. I also think this will benefit the company, and I think we have to at least give this a real shot before we walk away. At least then we can say we have tried, and if he doesn't agree, we walk away with our heads held high, and know that we dodged a bullet, and he lost the best opportunity for his company to grow internationally. Tell him, and he gives me a warm smile. I love you, my beautiful wife-to-be. Now that the drama is out of the way, we can be a few steps in front of it for once, and maybe then I won't be so intimidated by his damn height.
I laugh with him, because even 10 steps ahead, we will still be scared shirtless by the giant right behind us. 10 steps is only 2 for him. It won't take him long to catch up, and God help us when he does.
Chapter 19. Gareth. I haven't heard back from Gwen or Gabriel in the past 2 days, but I know that they are still here, and apparently they have made peace according to the guard I had tail them. I hate that I have gone to the level of staking them, even if I am not physically the one stalking them, but I hate not having answers, and in my line of business, it is my job to know what is going on around me, and when it comes to Gwen, I am not going to slack in the department.
Don't you think you are taking this a bit far? If you love the girl, you should let her go. Give her time to figure out how she feels about you.
My therapist says, and I shake my head at her. I did that, and she didn't come back. You clearly don't understand. I treated her like shit, constantly screwed with her head, and then fucked up the first chance I had at really being with her. I have waited a very long time to even have her on the same continent as me. I thought that if I saw her again, I would feel nothing, or at the very least, not feel as strongly about her as I have for the past 8 years. I was so fucking wrong. She is still the most beautiful woman I have ever seen, and when she is near me, it is like my entire world is brighter. It is like I have been in a corpse for the past 6 years, and with her this close, I feel alive. How does one just walk away from that? How can I just let one person that makes me feel like this life is worth living just walk away from me again? Judith is the only person that knows how I truly feel about Gwen, and the only reason she knows is because I am paying her to keep her mouth shut. That, and I have been seeing her since I kissed Gwen at that wedding, and I knew that I needed to work on my issues if I ever wanted to be with her.
Gareth, I have told you this before, and I don't think you are truly taking me seriously on this. You need to find a way to be happy with yourself, without someone else. You are worth living for, not Gwen. She should just be the bonus.
Judith says, and I wish she would stop with that shit. Have you met me? I am a pain in the ass, a stubborn prick. I am damaged goods. What the hell is there to love? I ask her, sitting up on the couch I had been laying on to look at her. Judith is a beautiful woman, and if she wasn't 15 years older than me, I probably would have been tempted to lure her to my bed for at least one night. But luckily, I only see her as a mother figure, and I am grateful for the age gap between us. She is tall and regal, her blonde hair in a tight bun on top of her head, her blue eyes that make you want to tell her all your secrets. She has a rocking body, and any man would be lucky to have her. She is sweet and understanding, but doesn't beat around the bush. She also doesn't take any of my crap. Because of that, I have respect for her.
If you have the ability to love someone as fully as you claim to love Gwen, then there is something in you worth loving. You take care of your employees, never forcing them to work ridiculous hours, and always support those that are willing to learn. You take part in charities, not because it brings you good publicity, but because you actually care about the charities you support. You have many redeeming qualities, and I can go on with the list of reasons why you should love yourself, but Gareth, you need to be the one to realize what there is to love about yourself. You have been going around in circles for the past 6.5 years about this, and you are still stuck on the same page. You don't need anyone to make you feel worthy. You don't need the world to think you are worthy of love and affection. You need to know that you are worthy simply because it is the truth.
This woman is going to drive me crazy. For years she has been telling me this, and still I can't see what she sees. Every time I try to tell myself that I am worthy, I hear the words my mom used to shout at me at least twice a week, and I remember how my father would beat the shit out of me while he was drunk. He was always drunk. I know that they are only two people and that their view of me shouldn't affect how I see myself, but I spent 18 years of my life in that house. I don't think I could ever really get out of it.
You are not the person your parents said you are. You write your own destiny. Stop giving them that power over you,
Judith says, and I swear she can read minds. She always seems to know where my head goes when I get quiet. Thank you for your time, Judith, I tell her as I get up. I'm not ready to deal with these wounds. Not now, and probably not ever.
See you next week at the same time,
she says, turning her eyes to the paper in front of her where she takes notes about our meetings. I don't know why she keeps writing this shit down. It's not like much has changed, and I honestly don't know why I keep coming back here, and it clearly doesn't seem to be doing any good. But I come back every week and I load on poor Judith. But she is the only person I can open up to, and the only person I trust with my thoughts. And I guess that is why I keep coming here and keep paying her, because everyone needs someone to talk to, and sadly, I have to pay the person I unload on because I have no one else that I trust enough with my secrets.
Chapter 20. Gwen. The past week has been the best week I have had with Gabriel since we heard from Jeanre. Now that he knows about my past, we have grown closer in ways I didn't think would be possible if he were to actually know everything about me. Every fear I had was cleared off the table after I came clean, and instead of walking away from me like I thought he would, he has become more caring and focused on our relationship. Instead of getting right back to work, Gabriel asked me to show him around the place I once called home. We have gone to all my favorite restaurants and tried all my favorite dishes. We went hiking and had a picnic at the river. I told him what it was like growing up here, told him about my parents and how loving they were. I told him about all my hopes and dreams as a child. When he asked me why I went into law, I explained that I was chasing my father's dreams at first, as he had always wanted to go into law, but his parents didn't have the money to fund his studies, and when he died, I decided that I wanted to live out that one dream for him, and it just turned out that my luck, I loved it. It feels I am getting to know him better with every part I open up, and I know that sounds strange, but the way he reacts to everything I say and everything I have done just makes me realize that I was so afraid of his judgment, so focused on how I expected him to react, that I didn't stop to learn who he really is, and that he isn't some uptight guy that lives by the book or will judge me for not being 100% perfect.
I just got an email from Gareth. He has a charity ball tomorrow that he would like us to attend. Does that interest you, my love? Gabriel asks. Today is the first time this week we have decided to actually spend the day working. There is a lot of work to catch up with, and we have been at it for hours now. What kind of charity is it? I ask him, needing a bit more details. I hate the fact that the simple mention of his name sends my heart into a panic. Why does he have such a hold on me? Why does my body and heart react to him? I get excited about the fact I might see him soon, and I try to tell myself it is simply because I am curious as to why he said he was already in hell the last time I saw him. But I know I can't lie to myself, and I know the reason I really want to see him is because I have felt deprived of his attention when he didn't even try to contact me since we parted ways at that restaurant. I have been trying all week to forget about him, to forget the feel of his hands on me. But try as I might, I can't. I know I will have to figure out why I keep reacting to him, if it is only because being this close to him is a blast from the past for my body, or if it is more and I need to figure it out before I leave here, because I can't get married to Gabriel unless I know for certain
but there is nothing that is going to hold me back or make me second-guess my feelings for Gabriel. I need to do this for him, because he deserves more than a wife that can't stop thinking about the man that took her virginity. He deserves so much more than a wife who is confused when he has no doubts at all.
The charity is for children that have suffered abuse,
Gabriel says, pulling me back into the present. Have you looked up the charity? Does it sound legit? I ask him, already knowing that Gareth would never steal from children that have already lost everything. Not if the stories I heard about his upbringing were true. He never confirmed those stories, but it makes sense if the stories are true that child abuse would be personal to him, and he wouldn't deprive other kids from getting the help and care that they deserve.
Everything is coming back legit. He isn't taking a dime from the charities, and he really seems to be caring for the children,
Gabriel states, and I pretend to think it over. I would love to support any charity that helps children. It will also give us a chance to see if Gareth is finally over himself, I say, not truly certain that I really want to see if he has moved on and is no longer interested in me. Fuck, I need to get my head checked. You can't love someone and yet think about another man, wondering if he is thinking about me as well. I really need to figure this out.
What will you wear?
Gabriel asks, and I try to think of the items I packed. I did pack a lot of work outfits, but I didn't think about the possibility of going to a black tie event where I would truly have to dress up. I will need to go and do some shopping, I tell him, and he looks at his laptop as if he is torn in two. Stay here at the hotel, my love. I will only be a few hours and then I will be back. You have far more work to catch up on than I have, and it will bore you to death to watch me fit on one dress after another. I promise to only be gone a few hours, I tell him, getting up from the counter that I have been using as my personal office for the past 3 hours. He gives me a grateful smile, and I walk over to give him a kiss and then head to our room, wondering what I can wear that will knock the breath right out of Gareth. Fuck, I really need to figure this out before it drives me insane.
Chapter 21. Gareth. I decided I am going to try and do what Judith suggested. I'm going to find a way to be happy with just myself. For years I have obsessed over Gwen, following her every move and hoping and praying that she will somehow see something in me that she might come to love. But Judith is right. How is Gwen ever going to find something in me to love when I can't even see it myself? For far too long I have allowed my parents' and teachers' opinions over me rule me. Everything I have done was to prove them wrong instead of proving to myself that I am worth being loved. It is time I start proving myself that I haven't lost everything good about myself. I walk around the ballroom, smiling at guests and thanking them for taking the time to donate to help give some children a better chance than I had. I force small talk, and I try to actually enjoy it this time. But after an hour of making small talk and not seeing Gwen and Gabriel, I am starting to get frustrated. They only accepted yesterday instead of Tuesday when I had sent them the invite, but they still accepted, and yet they are not here.
Stop looking for her. You are supposed to be focused on yourself, not on Gwen,
Judith says, her arm hooked into mine. I decided to bring her as my +1, hoping she would keep me in line when it comes to seeing Gwen, but it seems I brought her along for nothing because Gwen isn't showing up. I had hoped that our next encounter could happen while I had a leash on me, and someone to pull in that leash if I were to step out of line. It is not like I can request Judith to be at every meeting with Gwen, right? Will you be free Monday if they do not show up tonight? I might need you to rein me back in when they actually do decide to show up for a meeting they agreed to. Just as the last word leaves my mouth, the doors to the ballroom opens, and Gwen steps in with Gabriel on her side. They look like a power couple, both their heads held high as they step into the room. Fuck, she truly is breathtaking. She has a floor-length green dress on that has a large slit going up the side, showing off her milky white skin. The gold heels have a strap that wraps up her legs, and I have to force myself to think of puppies or small kittens, anything to keep myself from imagining her with nothing but those heels on. The dress dips low, nearly all the way to her navel, and I want to take off my jacket to wrap around her while I growl at every fucker that dares to look at her. The only thing keeping her dress up is 2 thin strings that ties around her neck. There is a golden chain hanging around her neck, first looping tightly against her throat, and the dipping low with the dress. Her breasts are showing just enough to have people transfixed, but not enough to look like they might pop out at any second. Gwen turns around and looks right up to Gabriel with a smile on her face, and I can feel my jealousy begging me to grab her to me and beg her to look at me like that. Luckily, my pride is stronger than my jealousy and spares me the embarrassment. With her hair pinned up, only a few pieces hanging loose, her entire back is exposed, only a few gold chains running over it. Is she trying to kill me? It is pure torture to stand here and watch Gabriel wrap his arm around her, making sure to place a possessive hand on her lower back as he starts leading her to the first couple.
I get it now,
Judith says from beside me, pulling my attention away from Gwen. Get what now? I ask, not following.
I get why you are so obsessed with her. She is truly one beautiful woman. But what makes her so much desirable is the fact that she is so confident, and by the way she carries herself, she is proud to be her. If that is the girl you have been running after, you truly have had it all wrong when handling her,
Judith says, and I feel shame and guilt over the way I had treated Gwen those first 2 years after we met. I really was a worthless piece of shit. That will change, because I want her, and if some soul-searching is what I need to do to have her, then that is what I will do. I can feel her approaching, my body always on high alert whenever she is in the same room. Good evening, Mr. Martins, Gabriel says, and I turn to face him. I try to see any sign that Gwen might have told him everything that happened, but there isn't even a spark of anger in his eyes as he looks at me. She must have made up some or other story to cover her past, and I hate that she did that. Good evening, Gabriel. It is good to see the two of you were able to make it on such short notice. I force my smile, my eyes sliding to Gwen. She looks at me with something I can't quite figure out. She doesn't look as angry with me as I had expected, but she doesn't look happy either. But before I can figure out what I see in her eyes, she forces a smile, pretending to be civilized. Why didn't you tell him? I ask her with my eyes, but either she can't read me the way I can read her, or she chooses to ignore the question, instead turning to Judith.
Good evening. I am Gwen, and this is my fiancé Gabriel,
she says, introducing herself to my date. Having decided I am taking too long to do it myself, I fucking forgot that Judith is even here, and she's literally holding onto my arm.
I am Judith, Garrett's therapist,
Judith says, without hesitating, a small smile playing at my lips, telling me she's going to enjoy what is coming. Gwen tilts her head to look up at me.
You see a therapist?
She asks. I need someone to unload all my troubles to that won't use it against me, I tell her with a shrug, and for the first time since she got here, Gwen's eyes soften. I can see the questions running around in her head, and I wonder what she is thinking. Does she feel sorry for me? Does she pity me? I don't want her to feel any of that when it comes to me. I am the one that has isolated myself, and pushed away anyone that came too close, including her. She couldn't feel sorry for me.
I need to go to the bathroom. Mind getting me a drink, my love?
Gwen asks, and Gabriel smiles at her. His eyes soft and filled with adoration for her, and for the first time, I feel guilty for trying to pile them apart.
I think I will join her,
Judith says, following Gwen in the direction of the bathroom. Well, this is awkward. Now I am left to make small talk who has the heart of the woman I love. You know, you might have been her first, and you might have seen a different side of her than I did, but Gwen has changed a lot from the girl that you knew, and believe me when I tell you that I will be her last, Gabriel says, leaving me standing there to look after him. He knows, and somehow he was able to move past it all. He truly does love her, and I know I should let her go right here and now, but I am not imagining the chemistry between us, and I know that she can feel it as well. I am not sure that I will ever be able to walk away from the one person that has made me feel more alive than I have ever felt. Can I ever truly let her go?